Good evening. This is HNN. The Holotable News Network is your not even remotely close to around-the-clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reactions, reviews, theory crafting, and more source. I'm Sir Georges, your host, and today we're joined by my distinguished co-host, Celiac Sarah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I don't think we have much news to go over
No.
besides our impressions of the updated Conquest.
Yes, we can get into that if you would like.
I would not like, but I think we must.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot, so
It's a pain.
oh well.
I don't like the new Conquest.
Oh well.
But we also have a puzzle that came out today.
Mhm.
I am not sure, but it looks like there's a lot of progress that has been made. This one looks detailed.
Yeah. Uh this one. So we were just chatting a little bit about it. They actually had like map coordinates that somebody drove to physically. And there was like an actual, like Crumb left an actual thing for them. Oh, and this is like even crazier. It was somewhere in Texas, I'm pretty sure. So it wasn't even like it was near where you would think the CG offices would be in California or something. Like it was in Texas.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was in Texas.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's crazy.
So
Yeah, we
no,
can
I've been
we can chat
sorry.
about that. We can chat about that.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
But first, let's go over Conquest.
Yeah.
And then also within this Conquest, so remember seeing a couple weeks ago about Asajj getting a new skin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And now in this new Conquest, I fought that Asajj
Mm-hmm.
in a boss battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all it is.
Yeah, because I think she was using her regular
Abilities, yeah.
abilities. So I feel like that's fine.
Or is it going to be a new character? Why would you come up with a new model just for Conquest? Like, is that going to be a new norm where they think it's
Yeah.
worth coming up with new models just to have extra fun in Conquest?
Well, they've kind of done that in the past with like legendary events.
That's true.
So I feel like I don't know about you. I'd be okay with it if they came up with like new skins and stuff in Conquest to fit the theme. That didn't affect, the difficulty or time requirements for Conquest.
Right.
So I feel like that's a small trade-off I would be okay with.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fun, but
Right.
a legendary, every player will go through eventually. So
Right.
you could kind of justify from a developer standpoint, it makes the event more fun and
Right.
it'll make an impression on everybody. Whereas these Conquest, they're around 3 months. And then
Yeah.
that Asajj skin is gone forever.
Okay, so I can see what you're saying. Yeah, it's gone, and then like, what was the point?
Right. For one boss battle.
Right. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
my first instinct is to say that it was just fun for adding something fun for Conquest.
Right.
But I definitely could see them using it to be a new character. I don't think they'll do the skins idea. But then again, they have been borrowing from other games a lot lately.
Yeah, and I remember. I don't know if you remember this. Like years ago, I think this was when like CG Carry was still there. They mentioned they wouldn't like make skins. Like skins was not something that CG was interested in.
Right.
So I don't know if they're. I mean, it seems like they're going back on that now.
Right.
Although I guess we don't get to keep the skin.
Right. We don't actually play with the extra skin. So like
Yeah.
They are keeping their word. But they've also released, like in the territory battles, characters that you're fighting that have the same kit as somebody else, but they look like a new character.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have brought those same characters to become actual playable. Like I think wasn't Kiadamundi like that at first?
Was he?
I think so. Don't remember for sure.
There have been though. Like, well, Chupio was one.
Yes.
Right? You had him altered for the battle, and then Chupio got released a little while later.
Yeah, an entire new kit form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know.
So far, it's nothing though, but it'll be interesting if it becomes something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to check on that with you.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then the new Conquest is here with the Scion. What's his name again? Django.
Oh,
Scion. Boba Scion of Django. There we go.
That's it. Yes. I was like, where is Scion in it? Yes, that's right. Yeah. Scion of Django.
Boba Scion of Django. We have the new Conquest where we're starting to get his shards. And they did a huge revamp for this Conquest where they were listening to the players, removing feats, and altering the map. There's now the Conquest Pass that Sarah said she was going to buy. And did you?
I did.
Did you? Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay, good.
Yep.
We'll get some impressions on that. The Conquest
I stuck to my word.
$10 or $30 bundle?
I bought the 30.
What?
I know. I did.
Okay. Interesting.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Then there's the hard path. I have been doing the hard path.
Me too.
But that's a bit of a letdown.
A misnomer, if you will.
Right. Okay, so let's see. What should we talk about first?
I don't even know where to start with this. Like, do we talk about the map changing and the feats changing first?
Let's talk about the maps and feats. Yeah. Let's do maps and feats.
So I enjoy that there are more nodes in each sector map.
Why?
Because it makes it easier to finish those, like, win 14 times with Night Sisters.
True.
Because you don't really feel like you're wasting time going backwards. Like, you're still going forwards. If you happen to come across a node that you're like, yeah, my team can beat this. It's a little bit more. It's like a mental game, right? Like, it feels better.
Yeah.
There are fewer feats, but the feats that are there are very, I don't want to say like interesting. I feel like I don't know what the right word is for them. I don't love them. I don't hate them, but I don't love them.
They are lame. They are basic. Like, they just halved the feats that were there, but left them all the same.
I will say that. So I like that they put a bunch of them in the global section instead of tying them to the sectors. So like that smuggler one, for instance, is way easier to grind out in sector 1. Now, if you want to be efficient, I would tell you to do it in sector 3 so that you could get some staggers at the same time. But
have you done it in sector 3?
I have done it in sector 3.
And you've won battles with your smugglers.
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Yes. You take a Gear 10 Kira lead and your Relic, Han, and Chewie and Vets, and you find a Bad Batch team that has no over-prepared on it, and you shoot Echo first, and then you win.
No.
Yeah. You shoot Echo first. He's stunned. He can't do any of his like stupid debuffing nonsense, or buffing, whatever. And yeah, you get an AoE stagger out from Kira. Kira almost always dies, but Han and Chewie carry it.
Versus the Bad Batch.
Yes. One that's not overprepared. So you have to find one that's not overprepared. If they're overprepared, at least for me, it doesn't work.
I'll try that out. Mm-hmm. So you'll go first, and after Han, like you're still gonna go keep taking your own turns?
Yeah.
I'll test that theory.
I'll do one in a little bit and let you know how it goes. I still have to do some, but it was the best way to get to double dip a little bit because at least you're getting stagger as well.
Now, you've had how many Bad Batch battles like that though?
Oh yeah, so I am repeating. Like I'm not moving forward in the map when I do that. So that one is a repeat node.
Right.
Because in Sector 3, I think I have one.
Exactly. So the 14 that you have to do, they still have
you need 40 with smugglers because it's global.
Yep. Which is not a new feat, by the way. We already had that last time.
No, they've just moved it. But I mean, defeating with Mandalorians isn't new either. Empire and Night Sisters aren't new either.
Exactly.
So there is like a lot that's not new.
Yes. So they did not replace any of the feats really.
Mm-hmm.
Except for some of the mini bosses and bosses or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. I like that the bosses aren't galactic legends. Yes, I do like that as well. Nice. I think that is nicer. Oh, I also really like, is it Sector 3 that the boss is Han?
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked that little puzzle where you can't kill him.
I am on that battle now and have not done it yet.
If you kill him, you lose.
What?
So you can't kill Han. That's part of the puzzle. You can't kill Han. Oh. And every time Han takes a turn, he deals a little bit of damage to himself. So you have to kill everyone else to win.
Oh, that's fun.
It's tricky because some of the discs, so I have caustic emissions and a thermal exhaust. So I'm throwing dots and thermals out like crazy, which can be bad in this case because Han will die from it.
Right. So have you had to take them off?
Yes.
For free with your bundle?
For free with my Battle Pass, my Battle Pass Plus. So I will say the reason why I did that one is because I wanted the ability to swap my discs around for free, especially in the first iteration of a new Conquest. Like I wanted to know what the optimal build would be and be able to just move discs around as I wanted. And then obviously like having a faster stamina and energy regeneration is nice.
Right. Okay. Let's look at the map like you were mentioning.
Okay.
So Sector 3, where they want 14 Bad Batch full squads. So that's new. Yeah.
I'm skipping that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking I will. I've been throwing a lot of energy at it. Like each new node, like, will Bad Batch be able to beat this team? And it's a no.
It's a no. Well, my Bad Batch are like gear 1. Because you need the full squad, right? Like
the full squad.
Like,
even
Omega.
Omega.
She's 3 stars.
Yes.
I can't do that.
It's horrible.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm skipping this.
Which you can do because it's only, I guess it's 10 key cards. Do you know the math of how many feats you can skip?
32 key cards.
32 key cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is, well, I mean, the last one you got to skip 35 or 40,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay, now the map. I want to know if we have the same nodes on the hard path.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel like they made the hard path static.
Easy.
Not easy. No, I would not
So,
say easy.
okay, so maybe we have the same nodes. I don't know if we have the same modifiers.
What's your first node in sector 3?
Sector 3, okay.
Mine is Mon Mothma. Overprepared 2.
Yeah. Yep.
My next 2 battles are both gas.
Okay, mine aren't.
What's your next one after Mon Mothma?
I have Phoenix with overprepared 3, and then I have Bad Batch without overprepared in the hard path.
Very nice for you. Like, I don't know about you, but I hate fighting the General Skywalker. Because you can't make it through without... So I'll use Padme. That's how I can do a 3-star.
So you use Cat. Instant kill her.
I don't use her.
Instant
She's a
kill.
cheat. She's a cheat.
But you can instant kill Gas right away.
I don't use Galactic Legends, and I don't use...
She's not a Galactic Legend.
I know. She's still a cheat code. She's still a cheat code to me.
Oh my goodness. But it's the easiest way to get around Gas.
That's a good point. I might try that if I get desperate. But yeah, I try not to use Galactic Legends or Cat because I think they're OP. But that's a good point. Yeah, definitely good.
I will say, so one of the Galactic Legend teams I'm using, and I feel like you need to cheat code this. You can take Kylo, so take your Supreme Leader Kylo.
Okay.
In, I think it's Sector 2, you need the Rebel Fighter kills.
Yes.
So there's a bug where you don't need to actually get the kills with Rebel Fighters. Have you finished this feat yet?
I was wondering. I have not finished it yet, but I definitely got way more on the feet than I have actually killed.
So I took Kylo.
Yeah.
Biggs. Fennec. Han and Boba, because then you're double dipping into have Boba and Fennec together and have Boba and Han together, and then you're also getting the Rebel Fighter. And
because all of the kills count as Rebel Fighter.
They all count as Rebel Fighter,
just by having one Rebel Fighter.
Yeah, and Kylo Biggs doesn't even survive. The dude gets toasted, and Kylo just does his thing, and Fennec doesn't survive either. She's Gear 1. But I get a tick for those 2 global feats. Then you get a tick for your Rebel Fighters.
So that definitely is cheating.
Okay, but I mean, they're gonna fix it.
I know. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But yeah, that's a bug.
That's a bug. But my point is, so for the Empire kills, I took Biggs out. I put an Empire tune in with the exact same squad because Fennec doesn't need to live. Boba and Han, whatever. Boba's probably maybe going to die. Han's probably going to die. They just need to tag along for the ride. If I can get the kills with my Empire tune and have Kylo there just to kind of be my safety net to make sure I win,
right?
Then I'm ticking these feats off at the same time. I did the same thing in Sector 1 to gain evasion down. I just threw a character on there that gives evasion down.
And they didn't even have to use the move?
They have to use the move.
Oh, okay.
So, but then at least I'm working on multiple things. With one battle.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, my hard path for Sector 3, okay? So the first 4 battles before you get to that first data disk stockpile, I had Mon Mothma, 2 General Skywalkers, and a Newt. My next 5 battles,
I
had another Mon Mothma, 2 Bad Batch, without the modifiers, and then a Grievous and a Jango. After the mini boss, I then had another Mon Mothma.
You got a lot of Mon Mothma.
I know. So now we're up at 3 Mon Mothmas and 2 General Skywalkers so far. After that, after the Wandering Scavenger in the middle, I had a Padme, another General Skywalker. Now we got 3 General Skywalkers, a Hux, another General Skywalker, so 4.
Okay.
A JTR.
Yep.
Stockpile. Then the last 5 battles before the boss, I had another Skywalker. So that's 5 General Skywalkers.
You got a lot.
A Rex team. Another General Skywalker. So 6. Following this hard path, I've already had 6 General Skywalkers on this one sector.
Yeah, no.
And then another General Skywalker. So 7. And then the last one was Phoenix. My only Phoenix on the hard path.
So what I have been doing, and this is, I will say, because I have the battle pass, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of consumables, which is fantastic. And friendly reminder, consumables expire at the end of the conquest, so you might as well use them. If you're not using them, you're playing wrong. But if I can see on the hard path that the hard path is leading me just to 2 scavengers, it's not leading me to 2 disc options, I'll try and take it. But if I don't want to do the battle, if it's easier for me to veer off of it, I'll veer off. I will only 100% stick to it if it's taking me to data discs.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of which,
yeah,
they restructured these stupid maps so that before you had the option of choosing either a data disk or a scavenger in your path.
Right.
So if you were a player who didn't care about consumables and preferred more options for data disk, you could play that way. Or if you decide that this specific scavenger has some that you like and that it was better than the data disk available, you could go for him. But now you're forced to choose data disk when they're presented to you, and you're forced to choose these scavengers when they're presented to you. So I'm being.
You mean like following the hard path? You're forced to it because it's
both
the only.
paths.
I guess either way.
Yeah, whichever path. Like they now give you, when you have the wall of things to choose, it'll only be scavengers. It'll only be data disk. So I've gotten a lot of consumables that I don't care about, or I've selected a lot of scavengers that sell consumables.
Right, you selected the node and then...
They do nothing for me since I don't plan on buying consumables.
Right.
And I feel bad for the people that have chosen not to do the hard path. But I also feel bad for the people that did choose to do the hard path. But... Because then you get dumb things like 7 General Skywalkers. But... Go ahead.
I can't believe you have 7 General Skywalkers.
7.
Like, I believe you. I just can't believe you. Like, it's...
7.
It's insane to me.
7 out of 20.
So, okay, let me look. I haven't finished Sector 5 yet, but in Sector 4...
7 out of my 20 Sector 3 battles are General Skywalker.
So, Sector 4, I took the hard path the whole way. I didn't veer off of it at all.
Yeah.
And I have, looking specifically for General Skywalker, I have 1.
What's the hardest one? What's the hardest team then? And do you find Mon Mothma hard? Do you find Mon Mothma hard?
No.
What do you use?
I use my Galactic Legends like a proper human.
Ah, lame. What Galactic Legend do you use?
So this is my general structure of Conquest. 1 bounty hunter battle right away, 1 smuggler battle right away.
Yeah.
Then I would do a Night Sister one when I was working on that, but that's done. Then I go do an Empire one. Then I go to the sector that I'm working forwards on, and I take all 4 of my Galactic Legends. I just cycle through them, through a squad, move 4 nodes forward. Then I go back to sector 1 to whichever one that I'm trying to farm a feat on, and I take another Galactic Legend. Usually it's Luke, because Luke is so OP in Conquest. And then I use him and be into his stamina a little bit to try and farm some things out. But then I'll also use CLS. I've found that even throwing Chewie and Han on my smuggler team doesn't damage my CLS output. But I also try not to go below, depending on the squad, I try not to go below 80% stamina.
Yeah.
So I am playing it multiple times a day because I'm trying to maximize my stamina.
Right.
Whereas I know some people will do 3 refreshes right away, and they grind their teams down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. So that's a smart way to play. Definitely efficient and effective. It points out why I hate Galactic Legends, because they're so OP that they make game modes like this where just use a Galactic Legend and you don't have to worry about the strategy as much.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of strategy still.
Yeah, you can still lose, depending on the node and the modifiers. You can still lose. Yeah. But then the entire game now is lopsided of, do they balance this battle so that Galactic Legends will have a hard time? Or do they balance this battle so that trying to do the feats, you'll have a hard time?
I mean, and I think part of it too is, which you kind of did bring up, that unfortunately you run into only a scavenger node or only a data disk node. Part of it is getting data disks as quickly as you can. And it makes those weaker teams. It makes, like, the data disks are why my Gear 10 Kira can carry, I shouldn't say carry, but they're why she can get at least 2 AoEs off most of the time on my smuggler battles.
You got a pretty good Gear 10 Kira then. They don't target you immediately and kill her?
No, you got to go for the right node. But she's also getting guarded from Chewie, so maybe that's helping me.
I even took mine to Gear 12 this time. So mine's Gear 12, but I haven't used her because she always dies. But I think she's still gonna die first immediately, as soon as the enemies take their turn.
I did find this time that one of my favorite. So the last few conquests, I would avoid Imperial Trooper nodes. And now I look for them because we don't have a zombie on any of the Night Sister nodes. So if I need to go and farm 50 clone trooper kills, those Imperial troopers revive when you kill them. So I can get 7 kills in one battle.
That's smart.
So I've just been trying to look for different things to take advantage of, I guess.
That's smart. You brought up just now the data disks.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the list. Which I'm glad they did. They released a list of data disks in Conquest this time.
Right.
So you can see beforehand what you want to strategize and put together.
Mm-hmm.
What data disk are you using right now?
So right now, I'm probably going to change it. But right now I have a thermal exhaust on, a volatile accelerator, caustic emissions, insatiable, another caustic emissions, and war of attrition, which just pulls turn meter. And I might take that one off because I finally found a perseverance and I want to put it on.
I'll say what they do again.
Okay, so thermal exhaust, Anytime you gain debuffs, you get a stack of thermal detonators. Or anytime you gain 5 debuffs, sorry, you get
on an
a stack.
enemy.
On an enemy, they get a stack of thermal detonators.
Yeah.
Then Volatile Accelerator. When I deal damage to an enemy, that enemy gains 8% turn meter and 3 damage over time dots for 2 turns. I use that one because of the thermal detonators. So they are taking a turn, they gain dots, they're debuffing themselves, then they get thermals put on. So I'm doing battles where I have like 17 thermal detonators and 21 dots stacked up. And half the time, the enemy goes to take a turn and they just die.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is not good if you're trying to farm kills, but it's good if you're just trying to push your way through the map.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So then I have caustic emissions. So I have 2 of those. One's green and one's white, which is that at the start of an enemy's turn, they gain 2 damage over time. Effects, whatever, for 2 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Insatiable is allied units gain 11% health steal and 11% defense penetration. Maybe I'll take that one off.
Yeah, that one doesn't seem worth it.
And then War of Attrition is that whenever a debuff expires on an enemy, all enemies lose 4% turn meter.
Yeah, I like that one. Or actually, no, I haven't seen that one.
That one came in my Pass Plus box, so I just threw it on.
Okay, so tell me about that. So in the Conquest Pass,
yes,
you're getting extra rewards of data discs?
So you only get 1 extra data disk. It's given to you right away. It just goes to your inventory. You get extra consumables right away that go to your inventory. And then as you're going along the reward track, you're getting the top track as well, which is the same as the $10 pass. So the $10 pass gets you the top track.
Right.
The 31 gets you the top track, plus the data disk, plus the consumables right away. I think I got some gear in it. And then I also get the free disc swapping and the stamina and energy regen.
Gotcha.
So it makes it, I don't know if I would do the 31 again. Like the stamina and energy going quick is awesome. And swapping your discs around for free is great because you can just build the proper build to get feats done. Right. Or just charge through the nodes. But realistically, what's actually really good is that extra reward path where you're getting all of those extra consumables.
Yes, that does look nice.
Yeah.
And that's only the $10 one that you need for that.
Right.
Yeah, that does look appetizing. It does.
Yeah. So the extra, and then, I mean, it also depends on what you want to do with your conquest currency, because if you have that top reward track, you're getting the shards, so you don't necessarily have to buy the shards from the scavenger. So you could use your conquest currency elsewhere if you wanted.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Good info. So the data discs.
Yeah.
Now I want to go over my gripes with Conquest.
Okay.
So one of the main ones, one of the big ones, is the lame data disk in the list, just all of them, and the lame chance of getting good data disk on the map now.
Okay. Because if you go off the hard path, you only have 1 spot to
and they will always be the basic tier white, gray, common ones. Only the hard path will give you green or blue. Like you might get 1 green, but it's never been a good one from what I see.
There has been maybe 2 times where I've taken the data disk that's not from the hard path side. But like literally maybe 2 times.
Right. Mm-hmm. But the whole list is still worse in level. Like you can have some blues in the hard path. Mm-hmm. You'll never see a blue in the normal path now.
Right.
That's lame. That's messed up.
I haven't paid attention to that, to be honest, because usually when I'm looking at data disks, I'm looking at whether or not I have it, what it does, not necessarily the tier. Because if it's a bad disk or if I don't need it, I don't care if it's blue or white. I don't need it.
I like to look at the tier because even a blue bad one can be better than a white good one. Like sure the potency calibration where you get extra potency, you're probably not going to want even if the blue one.
No, exactly. So I would skip that, right? Like I would if there was a white one in the normal that was better.
Right.
Like if there was a thermal exhaust one and it was a white one or a blue potency, I would go to thermal exhaust.
The thermal exhaust where they reach 5 debuffs and they gain 1 thermal detonator and it doesn't stack. It doesn't stack.
But if you have a debuff build like caustic emissions, volatile accelerator,
they still only are able to get 1 thermal detonator.
No. They are getting like I've had thermal detonators on them go up to like 11.
Because you're using the level 3 where they gain 3 stacks, right? Or how many thermal exhaust are you using?
I'm only using 1.
Okay.
And it's a white one. They gain 1 thermal detonator.
And you think it helps you win? Or it just your battles you were already going to win, it just adds a little extra?
I think it helps because of the disc build that I have. It just works so well with it. Because they're gaining so many dots.
Okay.
I realize it sounds like probably a bad disc, but also like Volatile Accelerator sounds like a bad disc too. When you first look at it, you're like, why would I want to speed them up?
Right.
Like I'm speeding the enemy up. That sounds bad. And then you actually use it and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Because in my head, I don't see how it's good. But I take your word for it, yeah.
It's great too because so that you speed them up, they go to take their turn and they immediately take damage to themselves.
Right, yeah.
So a lot of time they take damage to themselves and then I can kill them because their health is so far like down now that I can kill them and farm the kill with clone troopers or whoever. Or they just kill themselves.
Yeah. That's cool. So I dislike the lack of good data disk on the map. That you have to take the hard path if you want anything better than a common white one. And then for Sector 1, let's see. So I got the opening data disk, 1 more data disk, 2, 3. So I guess there were 4 data disks in my path, and then 1 after the boss. Maybe it just feels like I'm getting less because they added so many nodes to each sector.
Maybe. That would make sense. I had the same amount of data disk nodes.
As before?
No, as you just now.
Yeah. Just it feels like we're getting less opportunities for data disk than we did in the past.
Right, because like you said, it used to be a scavenger or a data disk.
Right. So I used to, within the first, probably by Sector 3 for sure, I'd have the loadout I wanted of data disk.
Right.
Like I had options.
Because you could check on the way.
Right.
Multiple times. And then if it was nothing, or if there was a consumable that you knew you were going to need.
Right. Like the frenzy one that helped you out.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I'm done with Sector 3 and I'm only using the data disk that I even have able to use, really. They aren't ones that I prefer to have. They're just the only ones that aren't duplicates of each other. And
So
like you said you wanted to get the perseverance where units call themselves to assist.
Yep.
I've had 3 or 4 of those presented to me.
And you haven't taken it?
I took the first one because it looked cool. Right. But I wouldn't want to use more than one.
Right.
Because it's actually, I think that's detrimental to use more than one. Because I did some math because I was curious at the way they worded it and stuff. Mm-hmm. So for the perseverance one, units will call themselves to assist when they use an ability during their turn. But all damage they deal, so not just their assist, but all damage, their normal first attack too, will do 30% less damage. So if you're looking at it from a damage output perspective, without the disc, they're doing 100%. If they call themselves to assist, they're now doing only 70% damage, but they're doing it twice. So you're at 140% damage output. Plus whatever abilities their basic does. So it can help. It can be beneficial to use it, even though it's a 3-star thing out of your 12.
Right.
But now if you try to use 2 perseverance data discs, then now you're only dealing 40% damage with each attack that you do. 40 times 3, because you do 2 basics afterwards. And now you are only doing 120% damage, less than if you had just done one of these perseverance data discs.
I don't think I would stack it. Like, I definitely don't think I would want to stack perseverance.
Right.
I would want to build something around it for sure.
Right. Which is why it's annoying that I've had 3 or 4 presented to me.
I will say what is actually really annoying to me with the data discs is when you get all of the same in one.
Yes.
That I really, really would like it if they would figure out a way to fix that, because that's just silly. Like, at the end of the day, it would be great. Even if you were seeing discs you've already seen, like, it would be great if there was at least a difference and you had options to choose from.
The list of 3 that you get, they need to be 3 different ones.
Yeah.
When you only get to pick one, come on.
Yeah. So I think that needs to change. Oh, and also I hate the new user interface to show you your like reward path and how far you are from the crate.
Yeah.
Hate it. Please put it back. It is the worst thing. No, this was not a good idea. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. It is absolutely atrocious.
You mean the screen where you've got the...
It just shows you how many key cards you need to get to the next reward. It doesn't show you how many you need in total.
Oh, yes. So not so much the visual of the battle pass on top, the basic on bottom, but the part where you're looking at your total data disk to get to the next level.
Right.
And so, it doesn't show you total all the way to the red crate.
Right.
Yeah.
That was just no.
Because the red crate was what we should all be caring about.
Exactly. Even the gold crate is what you should care about. Whichever crate that you care about, it is not user friendly to figure out how many feats you need to work on, right?
Right.
Especially when they change the total needed and how many key cards you can drop.
Yeah. Good point.
So that, and I'm pretty sure they said that they were going to change that. Like, I'm fairly confident they recognize that this was a bad idea.
That's good.
Because it was a bad idea.
Okay, now Now, looking at the list of data disk. So it's already hard to get good ones. You have to take the hard path if you want a good one. Oh, yeah. So that's another part of what makes it harder now to get good data disk, is that before, when they didn't have a hard path, you'd have two options, two or three. Whichever path you took, you'd reach to the point where you had two options of data disk stockpiles.
Okay.
Each of them would have three within those that could be good, could be bad. So each of them could have a blue one. Each of them could have a green one. Each of them could have a common.
Right.
Now, when you take the hard path and you've fought through these hard ones so that you still have the two options, now one of them is only going to be the gray commons with maybe one green.
Okay, yeah.
And then the other one can still have gray commons as well, but is more likely to have some blue and some green.
Right.
But out of the 6, there are less blue and greens than we had before.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Between the two nodes. Right.
Between all 6 options you have from the 2 node opportunities of data disk. Like, they've literally just made it harder to get good data disk. Instead of rewarding you for the hard path. Like, it should be they're all blue on the hard path.
Right. Something that would entice you to stay on it.
Right. Not, you now have to take the hard path just to get what you were getting before. And now you only have half the chance of getting a good one still as before.
I'm curious what your thought was. So obviously they talked about the hard path before we even saw the hard path.
Right.
I'm curious what your thoughts are of what you thought it would be, because what it is not what I thought it would be.
Okay. What I thought it would be an extra level of whatchamacallit, whatever the modifier is, the overprepared.
Okay, yeah.
I just thought it would be another level of overprepared. They might make it so that specific enemies were on that path. Like, you wouldn't get Phoenix if you were on the hard path. But I think in my head, I really just thought it would be more overprepared characters. Or even adding maybe a second modifier. Something new, something special, some new modifier, like one of the data discs that you get, the enemies now have. Like, now the enemies that have a thermal exhaust, to where when they put 5 debuffs on you, now you're going to get a stack of thermal detonator.
That would be cool.
That's simple. Doesn't take any more effort from them. And now the hard path is unique by using the same code they've written in, but give it to the enemies instead.
Right. So I envisioned like legitimately hard teams. But they also, like, when they were talking about it, they're like, yeah, you get on at the start of the map, and then they were like, that's when you get on, and you can get off, but you can't get back on. And I'm like, well, actually you can get back on. Right. You can't get back on once, like, in that little bubble of the sector. Right. But when you go to the next choke point in the map, you can get back on.
So you can be selective about when you're on the hard path.
Yeah.
And like you pointed out, when it's just going to be 2 scavengers offering the consumables, it really doesn't matter if you're on the hard path.
When I know it's 2 scavengers, I'll try and take it because it seems like a fun, cool thing. And you never know, like, if I want the option. Right. But I'm also keeping in mind, do I need to farm anything in this sector, like 50 kills with whatever? Or do I need to use my Night Sisters? And, like, do I need to look for squads that are, what's the word? Easier to move forward with and take advantage of those feats at the same time, right? Right. I also envisioned it as a single path. So I envisioned the map, and like below it, I envisioned a single path. So you didn't get to choose. You went in a straight line. Right. And if you wanted to get off of it, you would immediately kind of like, I feel so bad for people listening. They can't see my hands, but you would go like, if you were on a node, it would just be a straight line up to that slice of the map. And you could choose one of those 3 nodes instead if you wanted to get off, and then you were off. That was it. There was no getting back on.
Right.
That was what I had envisioned it as.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah.
And then we get there, and I actually completely forgot there was a hard path. And Conquest started, and I was just so busy the day it started that I was like, I gotta go in, I gotta spend some energy so I can get like it regenerating right away.
Right.
And I just picked nodes and completely forgot that there was a hard path. So I didn't even take it for the first little bit of Sector 1 because I wasn't on it. Because it's not marked.
Exactly. That's another big issue. Like it's totally normal for you to not remember there's a hard path.
Especially when you're doing like in this, you have Conquest, you've got Grand Arena, you've got Territory Battles or Territory War.
Yeah.
There's so much going on that you're kind of just like, oh yeah, I gotta go spend some energy real quick. And then you completely space on it.
Well, in the game, they don't tell you this is the hard path.
Yeah, correct.
If you didn't read and look at a map and look online to try and find what the hard path is, there is nothing. There is no, when you select a node, it goes, this is the hard path. We're going to have a special color on this line. This is the hard path. Better rewards if you take the hard path. No, nothing tells you there's better rewards. Nothing tells you which path is hard.
All they needed to do was outline those nodes in red.
Exactly. And make a clear line from node to node on which path is the hard path.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly, frustratingly, by the way, constantly looking at the map and going, okay, now their logic in these placements are that even though it looks like both of these nodes could reach this reward, it's going to be the one where the node will go straight into the reward. And then on the other symmetrical side, the flip, that node won't have a reward to go straight into.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have to be mentally...
Because it zigzags.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they'll have the 3 nodes at the end of this when you get to the chokehold. And then 2 rewards. They don't say which one is hard. They don't say... Because before you actually get to the chokehold, or within the 2 steps or whatever it is, before they allow you to see further down the map...
You've already had to pick.
Right. They don't show you the path where you know, okay, if I take this node, I'll be blocked off from getting that reward option.
Right. But once you know that there's a hard path and you've like remembered, if you see them stacked like that, if they're stacked towards the top, you know to take the top. And if they're stacked towards the bottom, you know to take the bottom.
Stacked how? What do you mean though?
So the nodes are like, they're kind of off center of the map.
Right.
So if they're off center towards the top, then you know the hard path is at the top.
So the nodes are actually, so I've got the map that they released.
Right.
And so from the starting point, it's perfect symmetry of 2, 3, 4. So it doesn't look off center yet.
Right.
Perfect symmetry until you get to the rewards.
Correct. So when you see them, because you can see them on the map, you just can't actually select them.
Right.
So you can see that they're sitting slightly higher. Like you can
only
see
the reward, only the consumable or stockpile.
Right. Correct. So if it's sitting slightly higher, then you know that the hard path is at the top.
But they don't say this. They don't say this.
I absolutely agree. They don't say it. Like you have to know, like you have to logically be like, okay, so the only way I can get to this top one is to be on the top path because I'm not going to be able to get to take the bottom.
Right.
So
even though,
yeah,
the way it used to be,
right.
If you had these 2 nodes And these two rewards, stockpiles, consumables,
Mhm.
either of these nodes could access either of these
Right.
reward nodes. But not anymore, even though it's directly across from it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so stupid. It needs to be that straight line like you were talking about. Clear distinction when I'm getting off. Clear
Yes.
distinction of these other nodes cannot get this reward because it's on its own little track.
Yeah.
It's just so dumb.
Which, I mean, if you, like, realistically, like I was saying, you just outline those nodes in red, a different color, whatever. I think red because hard.
Right.
And you could even outline the scavenger or the data disk in the same one so that you know it's in line with the path.
Yeah. It's dumb.
So.
It's dumb. And then going back to the data disks themselves.
Mhm.
Okay. Potency calibration. When an enemy resists a debuff, all allies gain potency. Do you think that's a good one?
No.
No. Dumb. Thermal exhaust, the one you were talking about, when an enemy reaches debuffs, they gain stacks
Love
of
it.
thermal.
It's beautiful.
I don't think it's beautiful.
I don't think it'll be good on its own.
Yeah.
I think you need it. You need it with discs that will debuff your enemies.
I see possibility. So I'll say it's a good one. Not great, but I'll say it's good.
Okay.
The doesn't stack part, does that mean, let's say they get to 10 debuffs, it won't put 6 thermal detonators?
I'm gonna have to count it like the next battle I do. I'm gonna actually, because I just look at it and I'm like, man, that is a lot of dots and that is a lot of thermals, and they just
right.
Poof.
Yeah, count it if you can, because it says it doesn't stack.
Yeah, and I only have the one disc, like the one thermal exhaust disc equipped.
Right. Yeah. So either it is stacking when they said it shouldn't, because I don't know how you could get to 11 thermal detonators. Because when I read the doesn't stack, that means it'll only do one thermal detonator until it goes off.
Right. And they definitely have more than one. Okay. And they have tons of dots.
Okay. So that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Caustic emissions. Enemy units gain damage over time. And then the blue one is they gain burning at the start of their turn, which can't be resisted. That one's okay. I like that one.
Yeah. I have 2 of those on.
Now, and I would never want 2 myself, just because then it's just 4 damage over times, but you're using 4 slots, right, of your 12?
Right. But 4 damage over times counting towards my 5 that I need for my thermals.
Yeah.
Gotta.
Yeah, I can see that.
But now someone just pointed out in chat that the disc itself for thermal exhaust doesn't stack, but the debuffing stacks. So if you get 10, you'll have 2 thermals. So this is why so it's obviously stacking. So the disc won't stack with another one.
Okay. So that means that it will do nothing to have 2 of these thermal exhaust discs.
Right. You'll just want 1.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's great because I faced a nest and I was like, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. Like, I can't chew through her. And then she just died. Like, she just disappeared. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah. Okay. But, okay, so we now see a data disk combo forming. But the only one we've seen forming is this damage over time thermal detonator combo.
It's fun.
Okay. But I'm pointing that out because I think with these options, there should be multiple options to victory when combining these data disks. Okay, then we've got Amplify Agony. When an ally inflicts a debuff on an enemy, they also deal max health damage.
I have that one, and I did have it equipped, and then I took it off.
Right. I'm going to say this one's kind of lame because even though it kind of is nice to do max health damage, If you're putting damage over times already,
Mm-hmm.
a damage over time is 5% max health. I'd rather have the caustic emission than Amplify Agony.
So I haven't gotten there yet, but I have heard that you need Amplify Agony for Sector 5 for the boss.
Okay.
So I'm curious if I won't need it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I had it and then I took it off, like I said. I'm liking the thermals and the dots way more.
So I'll say that one's okay. I don't think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Ability Exhaust. Whenever an enemy gains 10 debuffs, they gain ability block for 1 turn.
Oh, I don't like that one.
That's dumb. Like, I've got to go through the effort of putting 10 whole debuffs on them,
Mm-hmm.
and they get ability block for 1 turn. And I think that's like a 3 out of your 12 limit too.
Is it a three dot disc?
I think it is.
Mm.
I don't know for sure, but I think it is. And that's why it's doesn't have the 3 levels of the, common green, blue,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it by default is one of the high priority ones.
Right. Okay.
Then there's the War of Attrition. Once per turn, whenever a debuff expires on an enemy, all enemies lose 7% turn meter. That you got as your Conquest bundle reward.
Yes.
I'm going to guess that you can't get that without buying that bundle.
I don't know. If somebody has seen it, I would love to know if you can see it in the
would
wild.
too. I would too.
And
that is a 4 cost
yes.
purple.
Yes.
Do you think it's a good one?
I've literally watched the turn meter bar go backwards on enemies. Like I've watched them lose their turn meter, and I'm like, this is. And I actually forgot that I had that disc equipped, and that's what it did because I was watching. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know what's going on. But it's pretty fun.
But a debuff will only expire when they take their turn.
Mm-hmm.
But
I also have Volatile Accelerator equipped. So I'm taking away turn meter, but I'm also giving them turn meter. So it's probably not, the most efficient, but I'm going to swap it. I picked up that Perseverance one and I want it on.
But the War of Attrition one, only when the debuff expires. So unless one of them cleanses their teammates or you remove debuffs on them.
Mm-hmm. Or the detonators explode.
A detonator, but that's only going to happen on their turn. Like, so what I'm
trying Or if you have Zam.
What I'm pointing out, yes, that one character, that one bounty hunter character that would make use of this ability.
Hey, it still counts, okay?
This War of Attrition here, if a character takes a turn and that's when the debuffs expire,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if they lose turn meter because they've already reached their turn
mm-hmm.
and they can't go back to the negative. They're already going to be at 0 once these expire.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's why I don't think this is a good one.
Okay.
Because only in rare cases of you removing their debuffs or they're cleansing, like you fight a Kenobi who cleanses all the allies or something.
Mm-hmm.
Only in those rare cases will they lose turn meter before taking a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Maybe.
I mean, I think I'm looking at this right.
Maybe. I haven't run into too many. The biggest thing that I think, quote unquote, scared me was when I was fighting a Nest, because she just is gaining. She's not taking a turn, and she's also gaining all of this protection. But then she just blew up.
But she blew up because she only took a turn because you had the volatile accelerators, I guess.
Yes.
Because when I fought Nest, she will never take a turn.
Right.
Because of things like Unstable Decelerator.
Right. Let me double check. Okay, so I should just switch this now while I'm in game. War of Attrition, they are losing 4% turn meter when a debuff expires. Volatile Accelerator, when I deal damage to them, they gain 8% turn meter. And 3 damage over time. Effects.
Yeah. That one's kind of cool. That one's kind of cool.
It's working.
Yeah, I do want to try that out. I'm curious about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, the next set are buff sets.
Okay.
You got Protection Recovery. When an ally gains a buff, they also gain protection recovered. Good one?
I have it because it was like the only one that kind of looked good out of the options.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually equipped it.
I think it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one left of the... There used to be a bunch of these, like when an ally gains a buff, recover health, or when an ally attacks out of turn, gain protection or health. Those are all gone. This is the only one when an ally gains a buff, recover anything. There is no out of turn attacking anymore, rewarding.
Yeah, I feel like the last set of Conquest was really built on offense. And this set seems to be really built, like disc-wise, seems to be very much built on debuffing.
Right. Like you have to, which I didn't look at this list beforehand, but I wish I would have known.
They also didn't release the list until like 2 days into Conquest.
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of sad. They should have released it at least, an hour before Conquest went live.
Right. Because looking at this list, you kind of have to go with this preset debuff thermal detonator damage over time set. Because there aren't enough other data discs to put together anything good that isn't that.
Right.
The next buff one is Evasive Technique. All allies gain evasion up for 2 turns at the start of their turn.
I've been ignoring that one.
Yeah. I've used it. I think I have 2 of them just because I don't have other good data disk to put in place. But it's kind of lame. Like evasion up is not evasion, which I misread when I first put it on.
Right.
I was like, where's my foresight? Where's my... Yeah. So
it's just evasion up.
Right. And I have not seen Premonition, which is a really good one. I had it last time.
Which one is that? I haven't seen it.
I got it last time. Have not seen it this time. I don't think I will, unfortunately. So Premonition, when an ally has gained 7 buffs, they gain Foresight for 2 turns. And when an ally evades, they reduce their cooldowns by 1 turn.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So you mix this with Evasive Technique. And a character like Grandmaster Yoda will always be able to use their specials. All of your characters, like they take a turn, they get Foresight. Another enemy tries to attack them. They evade it. Cooldowns get reduced. They gain turn meter. They do their specials again, like Yoda spreads the Foresight again. And so he's not only giving you Foresight, but he's also giving buffs that will also give another Foresight. Once that, in case you reach that limit in between him giving you more Foresight.
Yeah.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
That's a good point.
But it's very rare.
Right.
And with the new, only the hard path will have any good ones. It's now become much more difficult to get Premonition or War of Attrition or Booming Voice, these purple ones.
Yeah. I don't think there is a Booming Voice this time, is there?
It's here on the list. Yeah.
Okay. I just haven't seen it.
We don't have to go through the whole list. This is taking a while, actually.
No.
I just wanted to point out, I don't think there are as many good discs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a bunch that give you potency, and then the old ones, like allied units gain offense or gain health steal. Those are never worth it, in my opinion. Right. Those are just buffing up your stats. It's nothing fun and interesting like the thermal detonators being applied. Even though you're not using ZAM, you actually get to have thermal detonators on a different team.
Yeah. Or, you're not using Jawas.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed with the new Conquest.
It's different. It doesn't feel harder.
No.
And it doesn't feel more grindy.
I would say it is. I'm not sure if it's more grindy or not. I know that there are way more nodes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having to do a lot more battles.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of lame, because now it's just trying to win battles that instead of trying to go for feats. Mm-hmm. I had more fun going for feats than I do just winning battle after battle.
I do too. And that's what I liked about Conquest, was figuring out how to go for these feats and being, efficient or solving the quote unquote puzzle of it. So not have, there still is a little bit of a puzzle, but it feels less puzzly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But I'm genuinely curious what people would want to see in Conquest to enjoy it. Like, because I feel like there have been all these different iterations of Conquest, and every single time people have not liked it. And I genuinely want to know, like, what is it that would make it? Because we got the first one or the first few, and everyone was like, oh, it's kind of not really engaging because you can go through it so quickly, or you can go through it slowly and you max out and whatever. And, it's quote unquote boring. And then they made it harder and put all these extra feats in it. And then it was too much. It was too many feats. And this is way too grindy and all the stuff. And now they've taken away some of the feats and put in extra nodes. And people are like, oh no, like the maps are too long. And I'm like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, in general, what would make, I'm genuinely curious, like what the community would want in order to make Conquest more enjoyable all around. But also, I think, keeping in mind that I think it would be fair to still spend crystals to refresh to finish it if you're going for the max crate. Whatever, like, what is that number? Do you think it's fair to ask for one refresh a day?
I don't think that's fair. No.
50 crystals a day.
No, that's not fair. So that you have to spend 700 crystals by the end of it?
You could possibly spend less if you're efficient. Say that's an average.
That's the average efficient?
I personally think that's fair.
I don't think that's fair. To play flawlessly and still have to spend that? No, that's not fair. Like, if you play flawlessly, so no losses,
right,
then I think you should be able to make it to the end perfectly. Like, just get enough for the red crate.
So that if you don't, because
you've never lost a battle. You've never lost a battle.
Mm-hmm.
You've done everything you need to. If you play perfectly, you shouldn't have to spend still.
But then I would argue that you shouldn't get the reward, like the character tier that we're getting. I would argue it should be like a marquee.
No, because a marquee are easy. Whereas here you would have to fight these hard battles, win. And it's like for territory battles,
mm-hmm.
a guild could max out the stars if they win all the waves, win all the battles. They don't have to spend crystals for the opportunity to get to the 4th wave. They don't have to spend so many crystals to make it past day 1. It's based on their skill at how well they're able to clear the waves as to what kind of crate they get in the end.
Right, but you're not getting a character in the end. You're not getting a character that makes its way into the meta in the end.
True.
That's my argument. I feel like if that was the case, then it maybe marquee is too low, but it could be like somewhere in between, like a little bit higher than a marquee.
And especially since they now have the battle pass,
mm-hmm.
That's how they'll make their money, not from pulling crystals out of people to finish the map.
Well, I mean, you're still spending crystals even when you buy the battle pass. Like getting even when you buy the $30 battle pass.
Do you think you're still going to need to spend crystals?
Oh yeah, I've been spending crystals every day.
I think you have been. I don't think you would need to.
I think you would need to. The stamina regeneration and the energy regeneration isn't fast enough. Yeah, to max out, to get to red crate. If you could theoretically, like depending on how you do it, you can get, if you buy the battle pass, all 3 conquests, you can get the character unlocked in 3 conquests with only getting the red crate once. So you can have 2 conquests where you get the gold crate, so the crate that's 1 lower,
right?
Because you're getting the bonus shards in that pathway, like in that extra bonus
that you buy with the currency.
That you, when you buy the extra reward tier, that you unlock when you buy the battle pass.
Yes.
So when you're collecting your rewards, there's the row that's on top. Right. That one has the shards in it as well.
Right.
So because you're getting it from that, you can actually go down a reward crate for 2, but you have to buy it all 3 times. So then it's like, to me, would that be worth it? Because the difference, to get red crate, you can drop 32 keys. And to get the gold crate, you can drop over 100.
Right.
So that's a massive difference in grinding time, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Assuming you get the red crate once.
Right. And buy all the scavengers.
You're buying them from the scavengers still, like in the map. But you're also getting them along the reward tier, which is why you can afford to go down a crate.
Right. I'd be okay with spending a few hundred, like 200 or 300 crystals.
Mm-hmm.
But it would need to be because I lost some or I didn't do my feats as efficiently as I should have.
Right.
Not that just to have enough energy to make it to the end. I think that's lame. Or just to have enough. That's part of what made it dumb before with the last Conquest. So a simple fix would just be take out the number of required battles per sector. So before they had 14 battles with full Geonosian.
Yeah.
14 battles with no attackers, which if you're doing full Geonosian, you have to have an attacker. So therefore it's requiring you to do 14 extra battles.
Right.
That's 28 for one sector. They've now increased the number of nodes, but made it so you didn't need to double dip with 28 battles. Not to mention the other feats you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they left the number of nodes the same, but had the feats that we have now, I think people would have been happy.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And I would.
Would you keep it more feat heavy then? Because if you get rid of the nodes, you're getting rid of key cards towards the max, right? So then would the feats be worth more key cards is my...
Right. I enjoyed the feats. I was fine each sector having 8 different feats. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing lame was making it at a bare minimum with both of those things like that, requiring 28 battles, not counting the other feats.
Right.
Like when one sector of, let's see, we have 20 battles now. So before probably had what?
We had 14.
14? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're
because
requiring...
you would have to do, if you wanted to be efficient on those 14 battles, you would use that faction for the 14.
Okay. Yeah. So then the way they had it before, you had to do at least the entire map twice.
Right.
Like twice the number of needed battles to get through those two separate feats.
Mm-hmm.
That's much. That's a bit much.
Whereas now you could theoretically, I don't know if you would, but you could do 14 before you're even done the map.
Right. I kind of like that freedom, but without the extra feats, I'm not having to think through with the other 6 battles that I have. How can I try to get these other feats done now that I finished the one that needed 14 battles?
Right. Yeah.
And you mix that in with their dumb new hard path, and you have 7 General Skywalkers. So that you can't use your Geonosians or you can't use your smugglers for 14 battles.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. I mean, I haven't had 7, so
7.
I actually am like shocked that you have 7 because that's insane.
And see what's annoying? Like you said, Cat. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But you can't do your feats when you use Cat.
Right. Because she's not part of them.
Right.
Part of them.
And it's not like another one where, okay, if I use these data discs, maybe I can go first or I can get a turn meter train going. No. General Skywalker, you can't kill anyone else until he's toppled. Then he's going to come out of topple and kill at least one of your people. Horrible.
Which is why if you use Cat, just kill him right away.
But then I can't do my Bad Batch feat.
Oh, just skip that one.
Then I can't do any of the other feats for Sector 3. So I'm still having to do 28 battles and only do these gases one time. Yeah. Yeah, the other feats are the Rebel Fighters and Stagger, which the characters that give Stagger
Kira, AoE,
are not going to do well against General Skywalker.
Vet Han with his basic
is not going to do anything against General Skywalker.
The great thing is, if you have the caustic emissions and the thermal exhaust, they're debuffed. And then Vet Han will attempt to apply Stagger because they're debuffed when he uses his basic.
And then he gets countered by General Skywalker and dies.
Just don't do it on a General Skywalker node.
But I have 7. I have to do it on a General Skywalker node.
I know. That is an
anomaly.
That's the one. It's an outlier. Okay. Like it's unheard of. I think the most I've had in a hard path of like repetition would maybe be 2 or 3.
Oh no. Okay, I think the hard path. Oh, yeah, I think we've talked this through enough. But yeah. I think the hard path also, they make it hard by putting hard teams on there. So it's not so much that they've given them extra buffs, is that they've only chosen the hard teams to put on that path.
I mean, I have a Bad Batch team on my hard path that doesn't have over-prepared.
Right, because they didn't pump up the hard path with more preparedness. They just put at hard teams. Bad Batch is a hard team.
Right.
They're very hard to defeat.
I don't know. Kira's doing a good job of it.
I don't believe you.
I'm telling you. Han, shoot Echo, you win.
I'll try it right now, but still, Mon Mothma is a very hard team.
Yeah.
General Skywalker's hard.
Yeah. I've had JTR in my hard path.
Yeah.
Which is
with
fine.
her buffs, whatever that buff is she gets, that's a hard one too. But yeah. Mon Mothma, I hate her. I hate her so much.
I've had Troopers in my hard path and Phoenix. Geos. Nothing too crazy. Separatist teams.
You don't think they're harder? You don't think the hard path is harder than before? Or harder than the normal?
No, I haven't noticed a difference. In fact, sometimes the hard path, like for instance, there'll be Bad Batch without overprepared, and the option on the normal path is overprepared 3.
Right. Yeah, that's dumb too.
So, yeah. We did get a question in Discord. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about Conquest.
I'm good.
If you're conquested out.
I'm conquested out.
So Boxing King is asking, in our opinion, if you buy the battle pass and don't get the max crate, is that a cause to be upset?
100%.
I would say no.
100%.
You have to actually do the work. If you buy the pass and you don't do anything.
If you buy the pass, you shouldn't have to do anything.
If you get, your front yard landscaped and then you don't do anything and you're upset because there's weeds everywhere and your grass has died, you shouldn't just expect it to be pristine and handed to you because you paid money.
If I
paid money for an advantage, and I will use that advantage so that I can get the max crate. And if I don't get the max crate, then I better get the gold crate and get the max crate next time.
No, if I spend to hire a good landscaping team and give them good equipment, and it turns out worse than someone else who's using a push lawnmower.
I'm not saying it would turn out worse. I'm saying if you don't put the effort in afterwards to maintain it.
I don't think so.
I
would be upset.
I don't think that spending $30. So say you spend $30 each conquest, so $90 total. You think $90 is justifiable for a meta-defining character when people spend $300 to get a marquee right away?
He's not meta-defining. We
don't know yet. Well, he's not going to be in the meta, but he'll be in territory war.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be meta-defining. I don't think. No, I can't be convinced that it's worth, because these aren't marquees. These aren't the new meta where they're charging you $300. It's a whole different system. I don't think it should be equated with, because you're having to do a lot of effort to try and get these characters.
I'm not putting in any more effort right now than I have put in for any other conquest.
Right, but even playing Conquest itself, you're putting in a lot of effort, whereas you could just spend and not put any effort in before, but now you're having to spend and put in effort.
But you're having to spend you don't have to spend. First of all, let me correct that statement. If you choose to spend, but you're still spending significantly less. And you're also getting other rewards. You're not just getting the character, right? You're getting the mod slicing materials. You're getting the gear. You're getting all this other stuff. It's not just the character itself. I know we're not going to agree on this.
Yeah, I just fought with smugglers They did pretty good against Bad Batch.
Did Kira lead?
Yeah. I think that it helped that I have the apply basic after that, whatever that one is, where you use your basic after you attack.
Okay.
But the 30% damage reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot the name of it. We were just talking about it.
Right. I think that helped. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. Why would killing Echo make such a big deal?
Because he's the one that just screws everything up.
I hate Echo.
You just gotta get rid of him. It's all about controlling the enemy. If you can stun him and get rid of him, even if you don't get rid of him, if you stun him so he doesn't take his turn and then you can get rid of him, it's beautiful.
I have to win 40 battles with a full squad of smugglers?
Yeah.
This new Conquest is stupid.
You didn't notice that?
Forget this.
Oh, man.
I have to fight Bad Batch 40 times? No, thank you.
Oh, boy. Well, on that happy note, we asked the Discord corner question. We did get a comment that I do want to touch on, if it's okay with you.
Go for it.
That Tumblr mentioned that if you don't listen to the Gambit podcast, he mentioned Zareth made a nice announcement this week, which I'm also going to announce and shamelessly plug. It's not Star Wars related. That Zareth and I are working on a new podcast about A Wheel of Time, which is a book series that is being developed into a TV show by Amazon Prime. And we have our first 3 episodes live already. So we would love it if you're into it to follow us, give us a review, all that fun stuff. There's a Discord server up. Yeah, it should be a ton of fun. And, doing more podcasts is always a great idea.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah. That's my little shameless plug. I am quickly skimming through the comments as well because we were talking about Conquest for such a long time.
Right. Red Ribbon said he's had 100 plus thermals on enemies.
Man, I want 100 plus thermals on enemies.
That's crazy.
That is nuts. I would love that.
But yeah, I got to check out that book so that I can know what your podcast is talking about.
Yeah, please do. For context, I've never read the series, so I'm reading it for the first time, and Zareth has read it multiple times. So it's a nice little dynamic because I have no idea what's going on. He knows what's going on. And then he's inevitably going to spoil it and ruin my life. So no, it should be a ton of fun. But yeah, I'm on the second book of
Very nice.
14.
Very nice.
Yeah. Do we even want to look at the meta? Has the meta even changed?
Let me pull it up real quick.
I feel like it hasn't changed.
I never remember what it was the week before, so it doesn't help that.
No, I was like, maybe we should write this down.
Okay. Jedi Master Kenobi is now at 77%.
Okay.
That is up. I believe it was 71% last time.
Mm-hmm.
That's now over 3/4 of people at rank 1 are doing so with Jedi Master Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6% are doing so with Lord Vader. Which I don't know about other people, but my Master Kenobi team doesn't really have any issue. I've never lost to a Lord Vader. And I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just trying to kill Piet. I kill everybody but Lord Vader and then focus on him. I've lost a couple tunes sometimes. Sometimes I don't lose any. Sometimes I've gotten it down to 2 or 3, but I've never lost to a Lord Vader.
I have lost once, and I think it was just like user error.
Right.
Like, I had only fought him a couple of times and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just wung it. and I lost once, but like haven't lost other than that.
And for the heftier price tag to get Lord Vader, that's not cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. And so, how many do you have in your arena shard? Because I see one.
I think I've seen 3, but I'm sure there are more. My arena loves to get the new characters, and so there should be at least 10, which they might have, but aren't running him.
Yeah, I can think of one person in my shard right now who keeps him in. Like he doesn't swap. Like he runs Lord Vader.
Yeah.
And everyone else is Kenobi or Luke.
Right. Because I'm sure there are more that have him. I haven't gone through and checked, but I think they just aren't using him.
Right. Yeah, I think they're not using him either. Which is kind of like disappointing.
Super disappointing.
Especially now that like you have Maul.
Right. And the natural step is to now work to try to get Vader to go with him. Yeah, I'm really scared he's gonna be a. Okay, so I found one person at least that has him. Relegate, no ultimate yet.
Okay.
But is not running him. I've usually killed most of the enemy team before he gets his ultimate off. So that's not even really a factor.
Yeah,
Yeah, the meta right now, 77% Kenobi, 6% Vader, 9% Jedi Master Luke. So,
that is nuts.
Not very balanced at all.
No, definitely not. I also would like to update real quick before we move on that the puzzle is still not solved. Just need to check. Just so we're all aware.
It means it's a harder puzzle than normal.
Yeah, I mean, they have to physically go places, apparently, so.
Yeah. Then the fleet meta, we're now at 65% Executor, which I want to say it was at 51.
It wasn't that high last time.
I think it was at 51 or 59. It was in the 50s for sure.
I don't know.
But now we're looking at 65% are running Executor. I've encountered more Executors. Negotiators still at 20%, with Malevolence only at 12%.
Yeah, it's coming back, actually. I think it's Monday or Tuesday.
And the TIE Fighter pilot Malevolence team is only at 3%.
Oh, wow.
I don't think that's a good counter. It does not work for me.
So I have heard that it is harder on lower starred executors because the turn order is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were good, I think the percentage would be higher than 3%.
Right. Yeah.
Because even the Sun Fac variant is at 7%. So over twice as many people are using Sun Fac in place of TIE Fighter pilot.
Interesting.
But I also wonder if they're fighting executors. Like, that's got to be early shards or easy ones. I just don't get it.
I avoid them. So we'll see.
Oh, the executors?
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't want to play this game. I'll settle for my
It's
top
horrible.
10.
It's worst meta. I'm inclined to venture to go as far as even saying this might be the worst meta ever.
The thing that I don't like, and I don't like having to switch my fleet to this malevolence counter
Without having
which is
saved
fine.
squads. Yeah.
Which, well, yeah. First of all, we have no fleet loadouts.
Yeah.
So I've switched my squad, and then let's say I get some bad RNG and I lose. I'm now waiting to do another battle
While vulnerable.
Like I have a squad in that looks stupid, and you can come in and snipe me.
Exactly.
Like, so I just don't. I'm like,
exactly.
Fine.
Horrible.
So we'll see.
Horrible.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a new ship that will change things. Maybe the clue is for a new ship.
Yeah.
No idea.
That'd be good, but I don't think, no. And if they do, it'll be a marquee ship. Whereas, like, if you are a person that spends and already has the 7-star executor, here's another character you can buy that can help you either make it harder, like it'll go with executor, or here's another character that will help you fight 7-star executors in mirror matches to replace mirror matches or something. Either way, I don't think it'd be good.
We'll see. We will see.
And last but not least, let's head to Uncle Owen's moisture farm to talk about who and what we're currently farming in game, because everyone knows where it comes before going to Tashi Station.
Yeah.
What are you farming, Sarah?
I am farming requirements and gear for executor. So I think it comes back on Monday, and all I have left is I need 2 more bomber blueprints shard things.
Whoa!
2. And I need to get Piet and IG-11 to relics, and I'll be ready. So I'm a little nervous.
Right. How much crystals do you have?
I have about 10,000 crystals.
I think you can do it. And you should.
So
you should do it.
Do I spend my crystals to rush this so that I can get it at least 4-star on Monday?
How much do you think it'll improve your arena ranking?
I don't think it will improve my arena ranking. I think it will help in Grand Arena and Territory War.
Nah, don't worry about it then.
How ironic is this that I am thinking about Grand Arena and Territory War?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just wait till next time. Because really, you're just saving yourself. Like, you'd have to spend all these crystals.
Right.
Just to get it 1 month ahead of time. Which in reality is just an extra 10 shards.
But then how many will there potentially be in my shard after Monday is my other thought.
I think your malevolence could probably do well against 4-star.
Yeah, I would probably just have to suck it up and start actually trying that.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I don't know. I would wait if I were you. Unless you can get it for under 1,000 crystals.
Oh, wow. I was ready to just like blow them all out.
Nah, if you can do it
maybe if I'm close and it's going to cost, if I have 10,000, it's going to cost like 8, 9, 9,500.
If it were going to cost that,
yeah,
it'd be better to wait a month.
Right.
Not spend any of those 8,000.
And then
spend
refresh.
those 8,000 to get to 5-star right away.
Right. That is a good point.
Like, I'm tempted this next time it comes around. I might spend to get to 5-star just to see if that'll help with my countering.
Right.
Like maybe 5-star can consistently, with good strategy, do well against 7 stars.
Maybe.
I know that. So the main thing that I'm thinking might turn the tide of battle. Most of his abilities are dumb and don't help you when you get to 5-star. Like unless you're 7-star, it doesn't matter. 4 and 7 or 4, 5, and 6 are all the same, except for his Death Star nuke ability.
Right.
That one, if you get to 5-star, it will reduce the cooldown by 3, which is the most reduction that you can get from all the upgrades. The next one is just a protection up gain, and then the last one will stun the enemies. But if you can just get to a 5-star Piet, then at the start of the match, you versus a 7-star are both on an equal 20 cooldown footing. Whereas if you're fighting as a 4-star, you have 23 turn cooldown. They only have 20. So even if you play better and kill one of their bounty hunters before they kill one of yours, you get a couple extra breaches out there. You have to make up at least 3, and you're slower than theirs, so they're going to go before you. So it's very hard to overcome the speed gap and the cooldown gap to annihilate their capital ship first. But if you can get a 5-star to where you're at equal cooldowns to start with, and because there are so many battles with my 4-star where I'm at 3 turn cooldown, and then they use their annihilate before me, or I'm at a 2 or 1 turn cooldown, where I knew I was so close. If I just gotten 1 extra lucky Cad Bane basic, where he does 1 extra breach. But if you get to 5,
that would have made the difference.
That would have made the difference. I would have been a victory.
Oh man!
But now with a equal starting cooldown, all of that goes away. I think it'll be a much more consistent ability to get a win versus 7 stars.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to splurge. I'll spend 3,000 crystals this next time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. What are you farming?
I'm farming.
Oops.
Bad Batch. I got my Echo up. Or no, not my Echo. I got my Tech to Relic 5.
Oh, wow.
I used him in the raid. He did you? He did do better than C-3PO.
Interesting.
I don't think the battle went entirely as planned. Like right. I did too much damage and got my Rex killed before the before the 15 turns are up.
Yeah.
I can't think of any of the words.
Enraged.
Yeah, before enraged.
Yeah.
So I think I should have gotten one more thing out of Echo or Rex, which would have probably been a whole million extra added to my score.
Yeah, an extra aerial assault out of him.
Right. So I want to test it again. I think the damage output will be a lot higher when it's done the same.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then I got Kira to gear 12. I like that I'm getting stun guns now.
Yep.
But now I need to go fast forward like 3 months. Because I don't have, like, I want the 3 months worth of stun guns from the daily the challenges now.
I don't blame you. I've actually been buying carbs more because I feel like I'm going to catch up on stun guns really quick.
Right.
And then I'll be behind on carbs.
Right. Remember how I told you I had a stash of like 500 carbs?
Not anymore.
Now it's down. I think it's like 100.
Oh man.
So somehow my stun guns did start eating up these carbs.
The carbs.
Yeah.
All the carbs. Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us, talking about the Conquest updates.
Mhm. For our short episode with no news.
Our very short episode. Yep. When I
Yep.
feel like I don't have anything to say, I can just ramble and ramble.
Hey, I don't hate it. We're real good.
That's good. That's good. Pleasure talking with you, Sarah.
You too.
Thanks everyone for joining us this week. That ought to do it. And until next time, Chewy, we're home.